Welcome to America's Dummies, and in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the movie Sound of Freedom and its surprising, not so surprising, success at the box office. Within 3 weeks, it has surpassed $100 million. And again, that is the movie Sound of Freedom, which is about the anti-trafficking efforts of a man named Tim Ballard, who used to work for the Department of Homeland Security and eventually started his own organization in efforts to help combat human trafficking across the world, especially in regards to young boys and girls. And we're going to also talk about one thing that is pretty frustrating for us and pretty infuriating is the media's response to essentially stigmatize the movie as well as the characters and the actors that are responsible for the movie. So we're going to get into that. It's going to get pretty heated. And I will say in advance that if you're not a fan of cuss words, or if you have people who you don't want to listen to some profanity, then this video may not be for you. But I think this is a must hear because of how important the topics are and just how infuriating this is. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. I am Kyle McClure, and as always, joining with me today is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Lone Wolf.
The one and only Lone. Yeah.
Lone Wolf. Don't forget the wolf part. So thanks again for tuning in today's episode. We're not gonna go ahead and do our regular pleasantries that we do on other episodes, just talking about a bunch of irrelevant stuff beforehand, but mostly because we get this Sound of Freedom movie is extremely good. Now it's I would say in terms of its storytelling, it's one of the best ever, especially in its ability to invoke emotions, especially to get you to think, to get you to research afterwards, to get you involved, and to become aware of human trafficking, especially sex slavery when it comes to kids. I will say how it was put together, I've seen better. But they also only had a $14.5 million budget. So being able to do what they did is tremendous. Not to mention the fact that they surpassed $100 million in 3 weeks, which is incredible for an independent studio film.
So as of yesterday, it's 20 days, 124,748.
Yeah, so we're on, so as of recording this, it's 7/24, and it was released on July 4th. And if you haven't seen it yet, or don't plan on seeing it, or don't know about it, look into it and definitely make plans to go see it because it's extremely good. And it's so infuriating how so many people in today's media are saying the same thing over and over and over and over again, and from different reporter, different journalists,
different
news outlets are saying the
reporters.
same thing to stigmatize the people involved in the making of the movie, the actors, the executive producers, the companies, including even the actors itself. And by the way, one of the articles we'll be going over, and it'll kind of spark some of the conversation we're talking about, is Sound of Freedom. It's obviously Sound of Freedom, about the movie and the people involved, and it's an article from Rolling Stone, which I'm sorry, but these people are downright evil. Mm-hmm. Evil people, because they are trying to stigmatize the movie as something that is extremely bad for people to watch, not for the reasons that you would think. They're trying to label it as a conspiracy theorist film. They're trying to label it as a fictitious story. They're trying to discredit the person that was the main character that was involved. They're trying to discredit the story. They're trying to get anybody and everybody to listen to this article, listen to this journalist, and encourage them, or discourage them is more accurate, from seeing the movie itself. I mean, I got infuriated within the first 2 minutes of that movie. And if you don't, there's something wrong with you, and you need to get your moral compass on check, right?
Yeah, the movie is made to portray a message of, human trafficking in the world today, right?
Yeah.
And these people are making it seem like it's not real, but they want to like kind of make it go away. Like, we shouldn't be talking about this. Don't go watch the movie.
Yeah.
Discrediting Ballard, the guy that actually was doing these missions and rescuing kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame. It's a shame that we have to take a message like this that the world needs to know and politicize it.
Oh, yeah. It's like you would think
ridiculous.
This is the only film that could ever be created that would unify everybody across all spectrums of political beliefs, religious beliefs.
That's what
whatever.
you would think, but no.
They've got to label it a right-wing QAnon adjacent conspiracy theorist film. Mm-hmm. By the way, does anybody go ahead right now and comment below whether or not you actually know what QAnon is or if you've even ever heard of it. Go ahead, comment below and let us know, because I can guarantee you a lot of people that are going to read these articles aren't going to know what QAnon is. They're just going to know it's some conspiracy-based outlet or group, because that's what every single left-leaning news outlet portrays it as a conspiracy theorist-riddled messaging board. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, does it have some conspiracy theories? Sure. There's no way for us to validate everything that goes up on that website, but to strictly say that this movie, which has no ties whatsoever to QAnon, doesn't mention anything about QAnon.
It's the same way you can't validate anything that goes up on Reddit or any other kind of blog
very
website
little things.
like
that. Yeah. And I despise each and every one of these people that are trying to discredit this film. Okay, so we'll go ahead and so first off, let's point out that this movie within its first day got like 14 million in the first day. I think 40 million in the first
weekend?
week. Yeah, I think 40 million was in the first week.
Okay.
But in the second week of this film being released, it saw an increase of 35% in box office revenue. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's only been able to be done like 10 other times when wide release movies, and they were all done during Christmas. This one was done during July 4th, right? And it beat out Disney's Indiana Jones as the number one in the box office. It's over $100 million, as we said, about $125 million in box office, which is number 3 right now.
Number 3 right now.
Yeah, and what's incredible is that this movie was actually made and completed by 2018 and was set to be released in 2019. And it just so happened...
What happened?
Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you go ahead and say it? So,
the movie... like Kyle said, it was completed in 2018, set to release 19. Fox had the movie in his hands.
Fox Studios.
So Disney bought Fox. Mm-hmm. And during that transaction, the movie got pretty much shelved. And it didn't come out till now.
Yeah. Yeah, and it didn't come out until 2023 when Angel Studios
they stepped in
and backed up. And they backed it up early in 2023.
Yeah.
So this all happened within the past 6 months.
So 7 months. It's crazy. Like the movie, I don't care if Disney says they didn't know about it.
Like, I highly doubt it.
You have to know what you're buying. You know what you got.
You have to know. Not to mention, you're gonna know which movies are slated to appear on the screen within the next year.
Just the fact that it was being blocked since then tells you something, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't want this kind of stuff to come out, and like I was telling you earlier, it's because they're either in on it, they like what they see or what's happening, or they're just being told what to do.
There's a term for essentially how they're treating this, and many other things too. But there's a term, I forgot who it's coined by, but I saw it on a podcast I was watching, and it's called they're anti-communist, right? Mm-hmm. So it's basically what they do is anyone who's against communism, which I'm not tying this to communism, I'm just saying it's relevant in terms of how they act, but it's like, oh, so this movie is popular with Christian, conservative, right-wing valued Americans. Well, we're anti-you, so that must mean we're anti this movie. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're pro-sex slavery, child sex slavery, human trafficking, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that they are. We're not saying perhaps that they are. We're just saying that because it's very popular among one group of people on the ideological and political spectrum, then people in the media, which are on the opposite of that, are going to have to obviously not be in support of the movie because their political rival or ideological rival is. So it's like anti, right?
It's a shame.
And so we'll go ahead and get started real quick on this Rolling Stone article, and I don't know if you have the reviews posted or pulled up over there, because the reviews
Yeah, I have
by
a
critics,
few on here.
oh my gosh, I'm sorry, but that shit is ridiculous. And when we were doing our research, I can't tell you how infuriated and pissed off I was getting. I mean, I was yelling for no reason.
Like this one, for example, from Tara McNamara, Common Sense Media. You remember that one?
Yeah.
So she says, while the cinematography and acting are solid, the way the trafficked children are depicted is made to exploit our emotions.
Oh, so a movie which tells a story, and every single movie and that's ever been created,
Movies
all meant to appeal to one's emotions. You mean that is she saying it's a bad thing? Is she saying it's a good thing? I don't know, because she doesn't elaborate, but all I can tell based on it is that she's basically trying to say that it's just all about emotions and not about reality.
Yeah, to me, it's like the way she says it, it's like it's meant to, I don't know, like put a seed in you or brainwash you into believing that sex trafficking is real. Like, it is. It happens.
It is real. It happens.
We just went through the New York Post. You can go to the New York Post right now, scroll, and you'll see an article on a NYC OBGYN that got 20 years for luring kids and trafficking them out of his doctor's office.
New York City OBGYN got caught being a part of a sex trafficking ring.
So,
and by the way, the film also points out, and there's research on Sound of Freedom's website, to where you can go and you can find information and educate yourself on the horrors of child trafficking and sex slavery and stuff like that. But it says that the United States is #1 in the world for sex trafficking, and there's also, it's about $150 billion a year industry. Right? $150 billion involved per year in this industry. And that's what we know of. I mean, it could be way worse than that, too. I mean, but I want to say this Rolling Stone title for this article, which has gotten a lot of flack on people who are, conservative or independent, right? This kind of tells you, I mean, you can go into the New York Times, you can go into Rolling Stone, you can go into The Guardian, Newsweek. All these people are going to be bashing Variety, Vanity Fair, all these news organizations and magazine companies. They're going to be stigmatizing and talking bad and down about the Sound of Freedom, which is all about bringing awareness of child slavery into our purview, right? Trying to make people aware of the horrors that are going on right beneath our noses that we are unaware of.
I just don't.
That's a lot of aware.
Yeah, but I don't see why they would go against an issue like this.
I don't either. And the only thing I can think of is it's pure evil. It's pure evil, and it's forces that we are unaware of at play. And of course, they're going to basically stigmatize anybody who believes in a spiritual warfare. They're going to say an unimagined or an imagined spiritual warfare, or unfounded spiritual warfare, or anything that basically says that you're Looney Tunes if you believe in a spiritual warfare. That's what they're trying to say. And because these people are ignorant and incompetent, and they're downright evil.
Then one of those reporters called the supporters delusional or something.
Yeah, something along those lines. A delusional spiritual warfare kind of thing, right? Well, here is let's go ahead and jump into the Rolling Stone article, because finally, yeah, right, finally. But this is what the article is titled, the Rolling Stone, along with its headline. Okay, headline and subtitle, whatever they're called. Okay, Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brainworms. The QAnon-tinged thriller about child trafficking is designed to appeal to the conscience of a conspiracy-addled boomer. Okay, this was written on July 7th, 2023. 3 days after the movie came out. And by the way, how they report on this movie makes me think that they just stayed in there for like the first 5 minutes and then bounced. Because nothing about what they say is accurate.
Yeah, they either did that or they didn't watch it at all. And now they're putting their opinions out there with total ignorance.
Yeah, and they want to try and say that Jim Caviezel, who played Jesus Christ in Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ, who also played the main lead of Tim Ballard, is they're trying to paint him as a conspiracy theorist and QAnon supporter, which I've watched some of they keep putting hyperlinks into this video, linking to speeches that he's given and things that he has said. Nowhere in there does he say he is a supporter of QAnon. Nowhere in there does he say I support QAnon. I mean, he brings it up because he says in regards to the opposite people, the people who are against QAnon, they bring it up as, oh, it's a QAnon film, and he's like, what? No, it's not. And then he also says that people who are either of QAnon belief, they say that the Q stands for questions, and he's like, oh, well, isn't that a good thing? But no, they try and take his words out of context and say when he said good thing, he was referring to QAnon being a good thing.
Not the fact that he thought it meant question, as in like.
Well, he was told that, not that he thinks that, but he's told that.
We should question things. Like somebody's going to tell you, hey, drive this car 100 miles an hour, hit that wall. You'll be fine.
Why?
Are you not going to question that?
It's like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some research. Or, no, it's not what I've been told my entire life, or whatever, right? You know, just like, it's ridiculous that they do this. And this movie was also rejected, and they want to say that there's a conspiracy theory about people not wanting this movie out there, like all these movie theaters shutting down, closing down, or evacuating people during that movie, and that movie only, across the nation, and that they're like, it's like, oh, these companies didn't want to pick it up just because they're worried about losing money. You're worried about a $14 million production? You're worth billions of dollars, and you're worried about losing money on a $14 million production? Disney lost almost $1 billion on their last 8 films. Almost $1 billion, and they're worried about that? No, they're worried about the truth getting out there because they are either A, somewhat involved, B, being controlled by people who are involved, like BlackRock or the World Economic Forum.
Vanguard,
George Soros, people tied to Epstein.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
The top 300. And then you're going to tell me it's a conspiracy theory, but look at Epstein's case.
Yeah. I mean, he was,
big political players like Clinton's and all that involved in all that mess.
And here's the thing, too. They always tell you, that all these articles that I've read, it's all about how QAnon adjacent it is, or it's QAnon conspiracy theories, but they never tell you what those conspiracy theories are. No. They never tell you exactly what about the film ties to QAnon. And then you have some articles that say, while they don't make any particular reference to QAnon, it's very similar to QAnon conspiracy theories. Like, how the hell are you making that connection?
I watched the movie, right?
Right, we both,
There is no QAnon references in there at all.
No, and they want to try and say that it's they're trying to make ties to adrenochrome, which is taking adrenaline out of babies or out of little kids when they're fearful, and using that, I guess, for youth or something of that nature. I don't really know all much about the conspiracy theory, but I can tell you right now, it's got some truth in it. If you got people who are involved in the child sex trafficking realm and they're trying to save kids and they know what's the deep, dark secrets of it, why are you believing them versus someone who's writing an article from their mama's basement?
Yeah.
Who doesn't know anything?
Why don't take Ballard's word?
Yeah, why don't you take Ballard's word? He's the one that's in it. For instance, right here.
On the field, in the field.
Of the Rolling Stone article written by Miles Klee, which is a pathetic piece of human shit.
That's I have a
hold on, let me do this real quick because this one pissed us both off. But this is what he said right here. Here he's talking about in reference to Jim Jim Caviezel, who played Tim Ballard. He says this, and I quote, "Here, he gets to act out some of that drama by playing a fictionalized version of Tim Ballard, head of the anti-sex trafficking nonprofit operation Underground Railroad, in a feature film that casts the operator as a Batman-style savior for kids sold into the sex trade."
How is it fiction?
if it's based on his actual tellings.
It's Tim Ballard himself that chose the actor. Mm-hmm. It's Tim Ballard himself that went over the information, and like he has to validate it, obviously, right? Because it's about him.
Yeah, exactly.
And he did that. So how is it fictional?
Yeah, if it was fictional, wouldn't he have said something like, "Don't go see this movie. It's not accurate at all"?
Yeah.
Wouldn't he say something?
It's like they're trying to misrepresent what I did or whatever. But
no, he hasn't done.
He hasn't said that anywhere, and
he watched it with Donald Trump.
Like
I think he did.
He's the one putting his life at risk. He quit his job. He basically stepped away from his family, which supported him the whole way, to do it. Yet you're calling him fiction?
You're calling it the story of fiction?
Yeah, the story. Yeah. Like, no.
And here's too, Ballard. This article goes on to say Ballard, Caviezel, and others of their ilk had primed the public to accept Sound of Freedom as a documentary rather than delusion by fomenting moral panic for years over this grossly exaggerated, quote, epidemic, unquote, of child sex trafficking, much of it funneling people into conspiracist rabbit holes in QAnon communities. In short, I was at the movies with people who were there to see their worst fears confirmed. Bro, if you're there to watch, did you speak to everybody? Did you speak to everybody there and say, "Oh yeah, I'm here to see my worst fears confirmed"?
No.
No, you did. You fucking did.
No, I watched the movie. And then there's people out there saying that they're trying to fake ticket sales and stuff like that. Like it says the theater is sold out, and then people go and there's nobody there. I went to the theater and that place was packed. The room, there was not one seat left. Everybody was there.
But okay. Here's another quote from the article. Sound of Freedom lives up to that anticipation. It's a stomach-turning experience, fetishizing the torture of its child victims and lingering over lush preludes to their sexual abuse. No, it fucking isn't. No. It is not fetishizing. Fuck! Sorry, I told you this is extremely infuriating for us. It's not fetishizing the torture of its child victims and lingering over lush preludes to their sexual abuse. It is not. It is telling you the unfortunate, realistic, the unfortunate existence of this kind of stuff in today's world. It is showing you and telling you a story of these kids that went through horrors.
It's telling you one story
of what kids go through in today's day and age.
In $150 billion industry
per year. Millions of kids enslaved right now.
So it's just trying to get the word out, and these people are trying to stop it.
They're trying to stop it, and I don't know. And then of course you want to say, and then it goes on to say the mostly white-haired audience around me could be relied on to gasp, moan, and pity, mutter condemnations, applaud, and bellow amen at moments of righteous fury, as when Ballard declares that God's children are not for sale. Okay, first off, you want to know about this white-haired audience and the boomer shit? You went to an afternoon showing of the movie. Guess who goes to movies in the afternoon? Overwhelmingly. People who are older, mostly because they're retired and they don't go to late-night showings. Mm-hmm. Okay, you chose a time of the day where most of the people who go to movies are going to be elderly people or people taking their kids during the summer to go see a movie.
You didn't go with the time we went. And we were there, and there was younger people there, and there was older people there. It was a crowd. It was a mixed crowd.
Exactly. I mean, and then, of course, you want to say that the movie is involved. The movie predicates itself around a white savior. A white savior. Are you freaking kidding me right now?
Again.
Having to get race involved. It has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with the people that were involved.
Yeah.
Get your head out of your fucking ass. I mean, seriously.
Same guy. Miles Klee.
Oh, okay. Is this a...
Yeah, so this is a movie. He's criticizing, his movie critic part. To know thousands of adults will absorb Sound of Freedom, this vigilante fever dream, and come away thinking themselves better informed on a hidden civilization crisis, well, it's profoundly depressing. Worse still, they'll want to spread the word.
Yeah, and he finishes this article with worse still, they'll be wanting to spread the word.
So I think
Because it's important. It's real. I mean,
It's really happening, bro.
these people, I'm telling you, this is not the only one either. Don't get this wrong. This is not a isolated instance.
Yeah. Well, we're picking on Miles because he really
Instance?
ticked our buttons.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm telling you, I am sorry for being so animated right now, but this thing is extremely important for everybody to know that you have a serious problem in just human trafficking in general, which also ties into the open borders that we have here in America, the open borders problem we have, and them not trying to enforce it. Matter of fact, they're trying to stop Governor Greg Abbott from putting buoys in the water to prevent people from coming over. Okay, they're trying to say it's inhumane, whatever the hell that means in regards to a buoy in the water keeping people coming over to this country.
More research on that, but I think the judge said that it was illegal or something.
Yeah, they're trying to say it's illegal. They're trying to say any effort to keep people coming over from the border from another country is illegal because it's the federal border, but you can do it with your own state borders. I mean, you're responsible for your state. Mm-hmm. That means we can put walls up to prevent people from invading our country. That's what we're having right now. The human trafficking is going to be exacerbated under this issue, which doesn't even just include children, but also includes terrorists being trafficked over our borders.
A lot of the victims are brought across the border. Like, United States is one of the number one to this industry. United States is one of the top customers.
Yeah.
So they're coming in through the border. How else would they get here?
Yeah.
You tell me.
Okay, here's another part of that Rolling Stone. By the way, we're not going to have enough time to go over this whole thing, but I want to get at least some of this in there. Okay, the Rolling Stone article also goes on to say that original rescue is only possible because Ballard is standing at the exact right spot of a U.S.-Mexico border station at the very moment his target tries to cross. Lucky! Okay, let me spell this out for you. And guys, I probably should have said this at the beginning, spoiler alert, but we'll put it on the thumbnail. But he is not lucky. He did his job by doing an investigation into someone that they caught earlier in the movie. They caught someone, and they utilized him to get information and to set up a meet to save a child to further their investigation into this issue.
Yeah, he basically went undercover. And kind of like you plan a drug bust. That's what he did. Mm-hmm. Except the product was a child.
Yeah.
And he identifies him at the border, and that's it. It was luck. It was coincidence.
Because one of the guys that was arrested in the beginning, he was able to get approval from his higher-ups to basically kind of get him out of custody. And like, hey, Tim Ballard pretended to be a pedophile with this other guy that they arrested for pedophilia. And he was like, hey, can you hook me up with the child? And he got hooked up with the child. And then as he did that in a diner, he gave him the information. He gave him the picture of the child and basically where all this is going to go down. And then next thing you know, he has cops come in and arrest him because he did his job. He got the information he needed. And now he can go to a location, a border, which they know he's going to have to cross. And he's going to go to that location, keep an eye out, and be able to save the kid. By the way, it's not lucky. Okay, they're trying to say that because it's a fictitious story that this doesn't add up because he's lucky. Or it's called, I don't know, an act of God?
It's not luck. Like, he could have went through, if he didn't see him at the border, he could have went through with the deal and act like he was actually going to purchase this child and then get him there. Right? So it's like, it's not luck. Like, the guy did his job, and all of a sudden it's luck and coincidence.
I mean, this dude did his job by...
And he's still doing it.
It's pissing me off. It continues to piss me off. I thought I was done yelling, but I'm not. Okay? All right. Okay, this shit just keeps going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Okay, and so again, the implausible is as implausible as the movie is. It invents a finale where Ballard journeys deep into a jungle alone to pluck a girl from the clutches of guerrilla militants, which he accomplishes by posing as a doctor distributing cholera vaccines. Okay, Yes, it is true, according to Angel Studios itself, that Ballard did not actually go into the jungles by himself to rescue the girl, but him and a bunch of people did pose as doctors going into areas in Southern America to distribute vaccines and to get information and to help people out.
Well, they tell you straight up, like, some of the stuff they change for storytelling purposes.
Yeah,
and I'm sure, like, they can't give away everything out 100%. Like, Ballard is still working.
Yeah. He is still working on trying to do
people
that.
and liberating kids.
Oh shit. Okay, we're running out of time on this recording. Again, guys, we are limited to 30-minute section time. So if you guys want to help us out, we got to go fund me. That'll be in the link description below. But we need funds to buy better equipment. So give us a second. We'll be back to finish it up in a little bit. But we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break, and then we're gonna be right back. So stay put. All right, and we're back for what we thought was only going to be 30 minutes, but nope, we can't do it in another 30 minutes. Oh shit.
What?
I forgot to do that before we start talking again. So for those of you who are confused, we had to do that clap, kind of like, a marker in movies where they have that black and white little marker. We had to do that so we can sync up our audio. But regardless, back to this infuriating article. So this person also tries to say that the actor has taken to repeating the most grotesque falsehoods of the sprawling QAnon ideology. By the way, never tells you what QAnon is. Did anybody, once again, comment below if you know what QAnon is or if you've even heard of it. But it says that among them that traffickers are harvesting children's organs, which they are, and extracting the chemical compound adrenochrome from their brains before murdering them, which they do. So that is real. But they're trying to say, which by the way, he has never, I don't know why. Okay, I want to talk to Miles Cleet and tell me, how do you know it's false? Have you been in the underground? Have you been in the black market? Have you been involved in an organization, hands-on, experiencing the horrors of sex trafficking? I know we haven't.
Did you go?
So there's not much we can say about it. But at the same time, if you have credibility to talk about this stuff, like Tim Ballard, like the human trafficking organizations that actually do save children.
Yeah. Like, why would you say they're lying?
Why would you say they're lying? You have no proof to say otherwise, other than in a political narrative and agenda that you're trying to control and push onto the masses of people. This is why people don't trust media anymore, because these people constantly lie to you. They constantly lie to you, constantly try to manipulate you, do basically psyops, okay, psychological operations, psychological warfare to control your perception, to color your perception into believing what they want you to do, to manipulate you from thinking for your own.
The same way a commercial can sell you a Coca-Cola, it's the same way these people are trying to get you away from the truth.
Yeah. I mean, you use psychology. The best marketers in the world understand psychology. They use psychology. They have degrees in psychology.
If you have a degree in marketing, you took psychology classes.
More than likely. And if you didn't, you should, because
marketing
is all about appealing and persuading the public to wanting your product or service. Yeah. That's what it is. These people are trying to use psychology to dissuade you from going to see this movie, dissuade you from believing in child sex trafficking. But I mean, I don't understand how the Rolling Stone actually allowed this piece of shit article to go up, and it's still up weeks later.
And it's long.
It really huge. Is. And that's one of the reasons why this is longer than 30 minutes, because we keep getting too far into it. But why don't you go ahead and read some more of the damn reviews. These are professional critics, by the way. So obviously give them your full attention and weight and value, because they matter more than you. Sarcasm, if you couldn't tell.
So this one's short. Nick Allen from RogerEbert.com. A solemn, drawn-out bore. That was his comment.
What did it say?
A solemn, I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Solemn?
Solemn, yeah. Drawn out bore. Bore.
That dude has no moral compass.
And then we got no soul. What was the other one? That was a good one. Oh, the guy with expecting something and didn't happen. Right here. The villainous characters are caricatures?
Caricatures?
Yeah.
Caricatures?
Yeah. But I didn't buy virtually any of the performances. So he's basically saying the actors sucked.
Of course.
And the Sound of Freedom is funereal pacing and struggling manipulations left me cold when I was expecting big emotional moments that never came. I don't know what movie you were watching, but it struck emotional to me.
It struck emotion to basically everybody. I mean, there are people that,
so this guy
other than being forced out for evacuation
blank.
purposes,
he's blank.
There are people that can't finish the movie. There are people that don't go to the movie or watch it because they are afraid they can't handle it, and it is extremely tough to get through. There were several times in my during that movie that my hands just involuntarily clenched in fists because I was so pissed off.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't fathom. I don't even have kids. I have an 8-year-old sister and a 13-year-old brother. And it pissed me off.
And if that is fake, imagine what's happening for real.
What do you mean?
Like, you know how they're calling the movie fake? Mm-hmm. That stuff doesn't happen. So the movie hits you that hard, and it's fake. Mm-hmm. Imagine what
but
the real
thing people, it's not real.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, here's... speaking of which... Rolling Stone, same article, same piece of shit article. Okay,
same guy.
Yeah, same guy. Therefore, to its boosters, the movie checks many satisfying boxes at once. Caviezel, a devout Catholic, allegedly blacklisted by entertainment industry, which is not false because he lost agents, like 2 agents that were his agents for 17 to 15 years because they listened to the Daily Beast, which constantly attacks him and his character. He lost them because of that. Well, it goes on to say he's back for a mythology burnishing biopic of Ballard, a call to action in an imagined global war against sexual predators. An imagined global war. Are you fucking telling me that human trafficking, sex trafficking, child slavery, which we know for a fact is real, are you telling me that is false? That is not a real thing? This person deserves to be fired wholeheartedly and barred from any publication.
We are making stuff up here. It's just made up.
I'm telling you guys, you need to watch this movie.
Go watch it.
Because yes, some of it is a little bit of creative
rough,
freedom.
But I think it'll ignite some people and them either helping or doing your own research on.
That'll help with it'll get you to educate yourself. It'll get you to be more aware of it. It'll spark so much within you, and you need to go see this. You need to pay it forward for other people to go see it when it comes out. You could probably, when it comes out for watch it at home. You could probably go see it on the Angel Studios app. I'm telling you, if this movie doesn't infuriate you, and if you don't look at some of the coverage that is bashing and stigmatizing and in some cases maybe even demonizing the film and its characters and its actors, there's something wrong with you if it doesn't infuriate you. You need to go see this movie, and you need to encourage as many people as possible to go see it. Yeah. And whether you are Christian, Muslim, atheist, agnostic, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what you are. This is a human issue.
It's a human issue, and if you have any dignity, if you have any moral goodness in you, if you have any respect for children and for parents and for humankind, you will go see this movie, you will spread the word, and you will do your best, whatever it is, whether it be speaking truth and bringing the light to people, okay, out there in the world, shining light upon the darkness and letting people gravitate towards that. You need to do that. Or you need to make sure you're involved in the organizations, maybe donate some money, or maybe make sure that more stories like this are being told. There are people that were involved in the Jeffrey Epstein rings that spoke out, but no one wants to cover it because people in Hollywood were involved, people in government were involved. That's as plain and simple.
Yeah, and they just hide it away.
They're just trying to hide it away. Never happened. So it's evil. It's grotesque. It's just, I don't understand how we have so many people out there right now that are trying to make sure people don't go see this movie. I don't understand it. I don't get why they would want to hide it.
the movement to stop people from watching it is so bad that there's movie theaters, and this is not a conspiracy theory, even though they're calling it. Movie theaters that, all of a sudden the AC doesn't work where the Sound of Freedom is showing, that room. The lights going in and out, the sound not working. The one in the mall where they evacuated the theater, but nothing else was evacuated.
Yeah, they were the people who were watching Sound of Freedom in a mall. Like, they were at a movie theater that was inside a mall. Yeah. They were evacuated during that movie. And when they came out of the theater, the mall was plain and simple, nothing going on, no one being evacuated, and they weren't told why they were being evacuated. Yeah. They just got a refund.
And that is not a conspiracy theory. There is reporters out there saying that it's fake, but there's videos out there that you guys can go watch about people actually recording inside.
Yeah, and as far as I'm aware, it's only that movie.
Telling people, like, hey, the AC's not working. Just here, it's gonna get hot. Blah 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 blah. It's like, come on, get the shit out of here.
We'll go ahead and start wrapping this up because I'm getting a little too frustrated and too pissed off. I can't think clearly.
It's getting worked up. We're gonna go hunt.
No, we're not. That's actually one worry I have with my mom and stepdad. So, my mom, I think it'd be extremely tough for her to watch. Sit down and watch it without taking breaks. My stepdad would have a really hard time, but I could see my stepdad, who is ex-Navy, former Navy, and I could see him being like, all right, I'm ready to get my gear, load up, let's go hunting. I could see him doing that, and that's one of my worries, too. It's just like, yeah, look, how about you just stay here and take care of your children, okay? Why don't you do that? But here's how this article ends, okay? And I want you to try and see if it's going to be a little bit long, so bear with me. But I want you to try and see right here what exactly about this specifically sticks out to you, and then I'll tell you what sticked out to me when I first saw it, because it is... Try and rub my ears. The
pressure points.
Pressure points. Name that movie reference. Comment below that movie reference. But
they'll get it.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, we work with someone who never saw it.
True.
So, which made us want to smack them. But we didn't. Don't worry, we didn't. Okay, so here's the part of the last paragraph of this article. Right here it says, there is visible suffering all around us in America. There are poor and unhoused and people brutalized or killed by police. There are mass shootings, lack of health care, climate disasters. And yet, over and over, the far right turns to these sordid fantasies about godless monsters hurting children. Now, as in the 1980s satanic panic, they won't even face the fact that most kids who suffer sexual abuse are harmed not by a shadowy cabal of strangers, but at the hands of a family member. Incorrect. Yes, does that happen? Unfortunately. It is an unfortunate thing that this kind of evil exists and that family members do that. Okay? But by the way...
And to call it a fantasy.
That's what stuck out. That's what stuck out to me.
What is wrong with this guy?
Stuck out.
So like I said,
that's what stuck out to me.
He's in on it.
He's got to be in on it, or he's being told what to do by people in the higher-ups that are saying, hey, this is the narrative that we're going to push. You better speak about this in the way that we want it, or you're fired.
This movie doesn't portray our agenda and what we're pushing in the media, like gun control and climate change.
Yeah.
So we're just going to bash it.
He had to say something about mass shootings. He had to say something about lack of health care.
It's not
about
politics.
He had to say something about climate disasters. This is not a political movie. It is a movie about human pain, suffering, and disaster that needs to be unified, and all of us to try and figure out a solution to fix.
That's it.
That's it. That's all it is, and be aware of it. But he wants to say that these are sordid fantasies about godless monsters hurting children. It happens. There's millions of people enslaved, millions of kids enslaved in today's society, and it doesn't matter if you don't like it. It doesn't matter if it's a hard subject to talk about. You need to address it. That's the fucking truth. That's the fucking reality of the situation.
Yeah, you're right. But no,
they want to just discourage people from seeing it. They want to tell people it's a fantasy. They want to tell people it's a delusion. They want to demonize you if you go see it and support it and and push it and promote it for other people to go watch. No. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're a right-wing conspiracy theorist. You're a white nationalist. You're a white savior. You're a racist. You're a fascist. You're a QAnon supporter. You're everything that's wrong in today's society. Really? Because you're perpetrating fucking lies that are dividing the American society further and further and further.
Yep.
But
and
they need that
exactly
so they can
what
take
did
control.
here. Like, this movie is not about politics. It's not about race or anything like that. And what do? Insert their division line immediately. What was it? 3 days after the movie came out? They're all talking shit about it.
3 days.
And it's like, why? Like,
I
Tim Ballard's goal was not to... This was not it.
No.
He wants to create awareness and let people know what's actually going on. Like, you can go look shit up and find out.
Go to the search engine and look it up. I mean, that's all you have to do. And don't go to these legacy media outlets that'll just try and cloud your perception of the movie.
That's exactly what they're doing. Just clouding ourselves, and just don't believe it. Go watch the movie. Do your research. Trust me. The world needs more awareness on this.
I mean, it's just, I'm sorry for getting so worked up, people, but if you don't get this worked up personally, I'm sorry, but you got to do some soul searching. Mm-hmm. Because this is extremely terrible, and the fact that this is happening in America, it saddens me. But the fact that we have people like Tim Ballard, people like Jim Caviezel, people like Mel Gibson, Ashton Kutcher and his organization to root out
he brought it
trafficking.
up in front of Congress.
Yeah.
Or the Senate.
Who you talk about? Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah.
Well, so did Tim Ballard. And Donald Trump put him to head of like I think he was a co-head or head of a organization within a federal organization with it to help from the State Department to combat human trafficking, which America is supposed to be the moral leader. We're supposed to be the people you can look up to for the right morals in this world and in other societies to model after. Mm-hmm. Right? So I don't know why we as a culture are trying to just demonize the people in this movie and to stigmatize this as a false fantasy movie and trying to say that because it's based on a true story, it's going to be false because that's what Hollywood does. Even though it's rejected by Hollywood, rejected by Amazon, rejected by Disney, rejected by Netflix.
No, that doesn't play in any of those.
It doesn't play. It's $14 million. You guys make $200 million movies that don't make $200 million. Disney, in their last 8 films, lost almost $1 billion. Are you seriously telling me you're worried about losing $14 million? No, you're not. You tell me that it's all money-based? No, it's not. There's something deeper going on with these organizations that they don't want you to know about child slavery, about child sex slavery, and about the horrors that are going on with this. You need to look into this stuff yourself. You need to figure out what's going on. And something needs to strike a chord with this. Doesn't have to be our podcast or this episode that does that. If the movie does that, great. Let other people watch it. Pay for someone else's ticket. But if at the very least, look into this, do some research, and figure out exactly what you believe in this. Yeah. It's as simple as that. I mean, and they also want to continue to say it's a faith-based movie, religious-based movie, faith-based movie. It's not faith-based. It is not. It just simply isn't.
It got picked up by Angel Studios just so it could be released.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would never know about this movie.
I just don't get it. And NPR, why QAnon supporters are promoting Sound of Freedom. Okay. Let's see. Here's another CNN controversial movie becomes a surprise summer hit. Let's see. There's others that really piss me off. Sound of Freedom torched by child trafficking experts. Rolling Stone again. Let's see. There was one that really frustrated me.
That Rolling Stone article is crazy.
I just don't understand. Here we go. That's the one that we just... another Rolling Stone, Sound of Freedom, box office triumph for QAnon. That's what we just read to you. Variety, Sound of Freedom review, solid thriller about child sex trafficking. That's not a bad one.
Like, if you didn't like the movie because of the actor or the low budget or whatever, that's fine. But don't sit here and tell me that the message they're trying to portray, it's unreal. It's because it is.
Here's another one. The Guardian, Sound of Freedom, the QAnon adjacent thriller seducing America. And then that's where they say he leads a unit to Colombia and eventually goes rogue on his single-minded quest to locate and liberate the still missing sister of a boy he managed to save from sex slavery. Rogue. He didn't go rogue. Okay, he did what he thought best, and he went independent.
He resigned and he went independent. That's not going rogue.
No, it's not going rogue. And rogue has a very negative connotation with it.
Mm-hmm.
People want to say that he went against the organization. He went and did something illegal. Right? He didn't do anything illegal. He's working within the confines of the legal parameters and with the forces overseas.
Yeah, in the movie, like at the end where they said he killed someone or whatever, he didn't actually kill anybody. And in the movie, it doesn't show him actually killing him. He just puts him in a chokehold and he passes out.
Which, by the way, it's like you're going to pass out pretty quickly, and you have to continue to hold it for a little bit afterwards for them to die.
14 minutes.
No, it's not 14 minutes. It's much faster.
Well, I was saying that because of the guy in the train that choked out the homeless guy.
It wasn't 14 minutes.
I think he had him for 14 minutes.
It was actually less than that.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just saying that because
the videos portrayed as longer, but it's not.
Anyhow, the movie doesn't show him killing anybody. Yeah, he passes out from the chokehold, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he killed him.
That part is untrue too, in terms of him going in there like that and doing that. That's not true. That's just a little bit of creative freedom for the movie. But at the same time, nonetheless, the morals of the movie are true. The message is true.
Yeah.
And by the way, in the movie too, there's actual. They had a sting operation, and they recorded it. They actually recorded it in real life, where they had a sting operation of this little private, I guess, island or this little private resort, where they had people come bring a bunch of children over, and they arrested the sex slavery people, and they saved the children. All right, that's what they did, and there's videos too of people being kidnapped that they play at the beginning of the movie. I mean, it's just.
But it's not real.
It is. It is real. Okay, the movie is real.
Yeah, it is.
People are going to take that out of context.
No, I was being sarcastic.
Yeah, but apparently it's not real. Right? Yeah, it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy. Child sex slavery isn't real. What? You're delusional if you believe in it.
Yeah. So, I mean, the message is out there. Just do your best to spread it. Watch the movie. Let your friends know about it.
Sorry. Another one from NPR. Christian thriller Sound of Freedom faces criticism for stoking... ... It's not a Christian thriller. It's not. For stoking conspiracy theory. For stoking conspiracy theories. What conspiracy theories does it invoke? How is it a Christian thriller when it's not about Christianity? The main player, the main actor, just happened to be a Christian. Just happened to play Jesus Christ in Passion of the Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And then the person that plays his wife in the movie had a gold necklace cross.
And the Matthew charm.
And then the Matthew, the charm that they had about Timoteo. Timoteo. And which was also Tim Ballard's name in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't know how accurate that is. I wasn't able to find anything on that. But, I mean, it was a very crucial part of the movie. Why not?
Yeah.
Right? But either way, it still depicts... I mean, yeah, there's some things in there that like the Timoteo charm, which has ties to Christianity, if I'm not mistaken.
Other movies do too. Like,
I mean, that's in every
scenes in churches and all that, and you don't call that a Christian thriller.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell? You're gonna seriously call this a Christian thriller when just because of the ties to Christianity that the people of Angel Studios have? Like, they're Mormons. I think Mormons are a tie of Christianity. I'm not entirely sure. I'm very ignorant when it comes to Mormonism. But regardless, the Angel Studios picked it up. And backed the movie for production, or not production, but for release. the main character has ties to Christianity because he is a Christian and he played Christ. I mean, is that what's your basis for a Christian thriller? Because if so, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah, you're missing the whole point.
You're missing the whole point. It's not about Christianity. It's about child sex slavery and how we should be against it and fight against it and be aware of all this stuff that happens. And what conspiracy theories? By the way, they tell you conspiracy theories, okay? They literally tell you that it's all about conspiracy theories without telling you a single damn conspiracy theory in all these articles. They tell you it's QAnon adjacent without telling you how it's QAnon adjacent. They're trying to manipulate your perception and belief of this movie before you go and see it and discourage you from seeing it. And if you do read these articles and then you do go see it, they want you to leave that theater basically entrenched in their belief of what the movie was. They want to color your perception before you go in there. Mm-hmm. How about you, for everybody there, I don't know who you are, I don't know what you are, I don't know who you are as a person, but just do one thing. Watch the movie with the clear set of eyes and think for yourself. Don't allow anybody, including us, to tell you how to think about the movie. Why don't you just go ahead and go see it and think for yourself what you think about it.
Yeah.
And go do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Because to be honest, the only thing we can do to combat this kind of stuff, combat this evil, is all we can do, like I said before, tell the truth, be a beacon of light, and hope that everybody else can gravitate towards it. Because some people will.
Yep. Amen.
And all we can do is just let God save people. That's all. All we can do is spread the word and shine some light on the evil that hides in the shadows. That's it. That's all we can do. But okay, I'm going to go ahead and end it there and go check my blood pressure and hopefully not have a heart attack. So
he'll be all right.
We're going to go ahead and end it there. Thank you for sticking with us on this. And I apologize if I blew out your eardrum or made you wreck or whatever for getting a little loud.
Anybody, right?
But yeah, this topic was extremely infuriating. That movie was infuriating, but was extremely good. I need to go meditate.
Yes. You need to go relax.
Yeah, no kidding. But all right, that is it for us today. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I appreciate it if you stuck through with the entire episode. And if please go see the movie if you haven't already, or go and promote the movie to other people if you have. Pay for someone else's ticket. Please share this video with your friends and family. Maybe let them possibly go support us at our GoFundMe so we can buy better equipment. And
throw us a like. Throw us some comments.
Throw us a comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you never miss a new episode. And we are continuing to do stuff behind the scenes to try and provide you with better content. So just continue to bear with us as we learn and grow together.
Yeah.
So thanks again for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate it. Till next time.
Peace.